This is Matt from MGMT Boston. Today on The Lantern, we're in Cambridge with Logan Currie, the Senior Fellow at Capita. Logan, what are you building? You're on the frontier of AI. Tell us what you're up to.
All the things, Matt. I am essentially building out what some would call a portfolio career. I like to kind of say that it's where all careers are going, which is essentially that, AI has allowed you to really, for people who are using it all day, every day, it really changes your workflow. It changes your work life, right? Oh, she's coming in.
Let her keep rolling.
And the way I often think about it is like, I don't know if you've read The Experimentation Machine by
Sure.
Jeff Bussgang.
Love that one.
So his whole thing is the 10X founder, and you have the 10X marketer, the 10X engineer. I think we're all moving towards a future where we're the 10X individual, where it's, okay, how am I able to do my best work across a variety of different contexts? And that's where it's really exciting right now.
Now, as you think about 2026, from January to now as we sit here into the spring, like a lot is already changing. How would you sort of diagnose this moment and where you think we're headed like throughout the rest of this year?
So the pace of everything is like drinking from a fire hose right now, right? Like we wake up every day and you're like, oh, I have to pay attention to the Claude Code leak. And then what does that mean for the industry and for everything? So I think we're all in an equal state of a little bit of overwhelm, but exhaustion, a little bit of like, okay, what else do I pay attention to? I think that right now there's a window of opportunity for people who are using AI, not just to build, but to really build tools that help you in your daily operations.
Sure.
So your logistics, your personal life, whatever that looks like, it doesn't only have to be within the context of work, but this window I do think is narrowing in terms of the people who will have the most options and the most opportunities in the future.
Sure.
So I encourage people, I do workshops, I have a podcast, I run a learning pod, I do a lot of this, I think, encouragement or education around how to just start. You don't need a technical background. You don't need to be in some MIT class or whatever it looks like. Like you have the ideas and now you have this magical moment in time where you can build anything you want to.
Logan's content is very good. I suggest you check it out. Now, what have you learned? I know it's so many things within the portfolio, within sort of your content and AI journey, but if you were to pass maybe one or two things back to up-and-coming operators or even founders about sort of what that moment looks like to get ahead, what would you share with them?
The picture that I paint for people is what happens to me every single morning, which is that I wake up, I open my laptop, I got my cup of coffee, and my AI has clocked in well before me. So I have 3 categories of work waiting for me. My day is prepped. I have talking points for meetings that are not based on BS. They're actually based on, let's say, previous calls and transcripts that I've had. They're based on emails. They're based on writing that I've produced. They're based on videos that I've made. It's my primary source content. And it's like, oh, you could probably talk about this. So it's like a positioning. It's like a branding strategist. And then I have a whole list of tasks that Claude has essentially done for me. Email drafts, one-pagers where it's like, oh, you had that call with that person yesterday. You said that you'd send them a one-pager. Here it is, because you sent a version of it to somebody else. And then there's a whole second category of tasks, which is hybrid tasks, me and Claude working together, saying, I need your decision making. We need to figure this out together. And then there's a really big bucket, which is my favorite bucket, which is the Logan only tasks, which is having conversations, meeting really interesting people, reading really high caliber, frontier, what's happening, research papers, news, watching interviews with people, really trying to learn and maintain that edge, which is like creative time and learning time. And I think that's where we're going. I have an operational intelligence with AI that's handling all the boring stuff. And then you can go to the interesting part.
Yeah, definitely. I like the layers. Now, as you think about how we can help you, where we can find you, what are some ways that Boston operators, founders, investors, et cetera, can learn more about Logan Currie?
Many places. So my buckets of work right now range from research to content. So I'm doing primary research into how AI is impacting women's roles in particular. That's my fellowship that I'm doing with Capita, kind of looking at familial economic resilience. And I think that's going to be really important in the years ahead. So if you know women who want to talk to me, hit me up. Working mothers in particular. The second bucket of work is around consulting with people, with teams around AI. And sometimes those are just conversations. I love a jam session. I'm in Cambridge. I love going to get coffee. So if you want to just nerd out about how you're using AI, how you think AI is changing things, I'm always down for what I call a good old-fashioned jam session. And then I have a podcast that I've just started with my fabulous co-host, Mara Bolis, who's a fellow at Berkman Klein Center, and it's called Womansplaining AI. And we really try to bring research and news and break it down to how this is impacting women, careers, family, society, but to try to make it a little bit serious, a little bit exciting, a little bit terrifying, and all the things that go with that. And then finally, I've started a community called AI Recess, where we try to act as your kind of trust filter for AI. And if you want practical workflows, you know, what to pay attention to and how to really use AI in a way that feels like you have a home base, that you're not like grabbing every single new tool that comes along your way. You have a home base that you know you can come back to.
Love that. This is Logan, Senior Fellow at Capita, and a whole lot more. Matt from MGP Boston on this episode of Lantern. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.